What's good, everybody? The spring Discord drawing contest ended and the winners will be announced at the end of the video. Alright, let's get into some malicious compliance. Here we go. If you use a dish, wash it. If you say so. My dad has been an asshole to my mom and me for years. He's the type of person who is always right in every situation no matter what, and is also a raging misogynist. He literally refers to himself as that. When I, a moderately muscular 20-year-old, go to lift cases of soda into the house or open a stuck jar, my dad will physically push me away from what I'm trying to do. He says things like, "I know you don't like it, but beer is a man's drink." None of this has much directly to do with this story, but it helps to frame the kind of person I live with. When I was younger, I put up with it because I never knew that people weren't supposed to talk to their children like that. The man is a staunch Trump-loving conservative that very much believes in the whole "your home is your castle" idea. He acts like some kind of high and mighty lord looking over his land as he sits in his recliner drinking a Bud Light. My dad believes that he is God above us, even though my mother is the sole breadwinner of our family. My mother is an absolutely amazing woman that owned her own floral business for around 20 years before deciding to sell it and work for a larger company after she got older. She works her ass off every day to make sure that we have enough money to stay afloat. I'm the first woman in my immediate family to go to college. I'm a junior right now, and Dad acts like I'm going to summer camp every time I leave for school. He dropped out of middle school. So all that established, here's my malicious compliance. I hate cleaning, and I'm very open about preferring lawn work to dusting any day. But of course, I'm a delicate little boob bearer, so I'm not allowed to touch a lawnmower. My dad firmly believes that having a vagina biologically makes a woman into a cleaning vacuum. When I get home on breaks, I always come home to find the kitchen sink piled with dishes. I know that he knows how to wash and dry plates, but it always seems that whenever he knows I'm coming back home, he forgets how. This is pretty impressive, really, considering how much he cooks for himself. He's a diabetic, but he eats like the world is ending. I'm talking about full breakfast every morning, boiled Brussels sprouts and asparagus daily, freezer burnt burgers for dinner, the works every day. I've grown used to not eating large meals from my work schedule at college, and my mom is rarely ever home in time for dinner, so he's the main person using the dishes in the house. I really wouldn't care about doing his dishes if he wasn't such a pig about it. He refuses to even rinse off his dishes, leaving the sink full of bowls full of spoiled milk, unwanted cuts of meat, and worse. He leaves all of this food in the sink till it clogs the drain and creates a terrifying, flesh-melting soup of rotting liquid. I'm not a squeamish person by any means, but the smell of that sink haunts my nightmares. If I don't get to the porcelain mountain, it might sit there for 3 days before he starts screaming at me or mom to handle it. I've never even seen him do the dishes beyond a few knives and forks. My mom is the manager of her department at work, and she covers a 9 to 5 shift from Monday to Saturday. I also work over the summer as a cashier at a local supermarket. When I'm not working, I'm usually helping my disabled grandmother with her garden work, or I'm home working on internship applications and/or freelance writing projects. Point is, we are both rarely home and are always busy. Sure, I could probably squeeze in an hour every day to put on a hazmat suit and scrape his burnt scrambled eggs off our frying pans, but that's what I've done my whole life. I purposefully picked a school on the other side of my state so that he wouldn't be able to bully me anymore. As a kid, he was able to belittle me and make me think the only way I could have value was through obedience to him. But I'm a grown-ass woman now and decided that I wouldn't take his crap anymore. I would never touch his overcooked Brussels sprout slop again. The way my dad would guilt me into doing the dishes would always be the same. He would corner me when I was eating and the conversation would go something like this. "If you could get to the dishes sometime soon, that would be real great." "I thought you said you would do them this morning." "It's not all my dishes. You live in this house, you do your dishes." And that was how it would go. He'd look down on me as I would guiltily look in my bowl of food and eat up his bullshit logic. He pulled this stunt just about every night until I left. Whenever I'm back in the house, he starts it right up again. Now, I'm sure that most of you have probably already found the fault in his wording. He only commanded that I do my dishes. He dug his own grave, really. But my way out of his order wasn't as clean cut as one might think. We have an industrial style kitchen sink, the big metal kind, with 2 separate tubs. One is used for air drying wet dishes on rack. The other is porcelain mountain, or the artist formerly known as the washing side. I could easily mine out a hole in the pile to hold a bowl over the faucet to wash them, but if I wanted to clean silverware or a plate, I'd be getting soap and mountain juice all over myself and the counter by dodging the dishes already in the sink. It would be more work actively avoiding Porcelain Mountain than it would be to just wash it, but screw that. Because we have another side to our sink, the one with the drying rack, I figured out that if I could make sure I always used a large enough pot when cooking, I could just fill it with water and a bit of soap to clean my own dishes and then empty it down the other drain. Luckily, one of my favorite things to eat is rice with peppers and onions. Here's my recipe for some sick revenge. 1. Use a medium pot as a saucepan to saute peppers, onions, and a clove of garlic. Add a bit of soy sauce and salt to taste. Take them off the heat just before they look done. 2. Place cooked veggies onto the lid that came with the pot and rinse out the pot. 3. Fill the pot with water. Make sure not to fill it more than halfway. 4. Get water to a rapid boil, then cook your rice. To avoid dirtying another dish, put the lid upside down while it's still filled with your veggies. By the time the rice is cooked, they too should be done as they heated up nicely on top of the metal lid. 5. Drain the rice and replace it into the pot. Pour the veggies right into that bad boy. 6. Stare down your father as you eat. Use a pair of metal chopsticks for easy cleanup. 7. Repeat for 2 months straight until Porcelain Mountain sludge causes the pipes to burst. That's right, it burst. So much rotted food had built up in the drain pipe that it basically exploded in a glorious swan song of vomit-scented refuse. It was absolutely f***ing everywhere. My father had to get down on his hands and knees like a soldier in acidic trenches, wallowing in his own drowned leftovers. I felt bad that my mom also had to deal with that mess, but she understood that was a long time coming. Old man still talks crap about us all the time, but now he does his own dishes. I consider that a major victory. Sounds like the poor dude needs help changing his diaper too. Oh man, I don't get people like this. I can't stand when there's dishes on both sides of the sink. It just drives me nuts. Ain't nobody trying to do dishes. Unless you're in the middle of nowhere, you have to work during vacation. Your salary. I work for a small company in the trades as head of the IT department, aka the only IT person. Truthfully, the gig is pretty great. Good pay, benefits, and I can come and go as I please within reason. The 2 people I have to answer to are the VP and CEO, and as is par for the course, they know dick all about anything to do with technology and generally leave me be as I'm good at my job and everything runs smoothly. Being a small company, a lot of us don't take vacations due to A. building the company, and B. not having replacements for the time we're gone, but after 2 years vacationless, we're in the US. My wife convinces me to use the time I'm given to decompress and take a small 1-week getaway. I talk to VP and he gives me the thumbs up to take the time, bearing I get everything in order and do some minor teaching to other staff in case of an emergency. Cool, easy. Enter FOD, Field Operations Director, a man who is an attack dog for the VP for no reason as the VP is nothing but polite and reasonable. FOD loves giving everyone a hard time, adding steps to tasks to make himself look like he's part of the process, reminding everyone how much of a boss he is to the rest of us in management and calling me a nerd any chance he gets. Fair to say, I dislike FOD immensely. After making my rounds with other staff, it's FOD's time to do some scary computer-related learning. He refuses to look weak under any circumstances and gets very angry when learning new things because I'm the boss, I already know. In the midst of learning, it dawns on him to ask why he has to learn this stuff anyway. I'm the nerd and it's my job to do this. I clue him in on the week I'm taking off and this stuff is just precautionary. This worries him as he'll have to retain information, answer questions, and do some minor troubleshooting. The conversation went something like this, and I wish I could tell you that this guy isn't much of a jerk, but he is. Boss, who approved your vacation? The VP did as long as I could get you guys comfortable with some small maintenance. I only approve vacation time. I'm your boss. Side note, he does this so much that VP actually wrote out the hierarchy in chart form and we all carry a digital copy with us to remind him who he's actually in charge of. Me, you're not, shows chart. Well, fine, but you're salary, so you have to work during your vacation. You'll bring your laptop and work phone with you. When you vacation, you make it very clear you're unreachable and can't be bothered even if it's an emergency. That's because I go to places without service, and unless you're going to the mountains, you have to work. Your salary. Malicious compliance initiated. Just to be clear, if I go to a place without service, I won't be expected to work, yeah? That's right, but you're a nerd. You don't do anything outdoorsy. Great, thanks for clearing that up. Fast forward 3 weeks later and it's vacation time. All my ducks are in a row. People are comfortable with me being gone for the week and all are encouraging me to just disconnect. A close coworker of mine knows the conversation boss and I had and asked what I plan to do about it. So I shared my easy but effective plan. 1. Wife and I rented a cabin in the woods, 2 hours from the nearest town, and it doesn't have service. 2. I set up automatic email replies that have all IT questions and concerns forwarded to boss since he's the boss, he knows. 3. Leave work phone on the charger in my office with ringer on. Door locked so he has to hear it, and voicemail changed to have boss become IT for the week. Coworker loves the idea of flooding boss with questions he can't answer so much that he gets other coworkers in on it. Midway through the week, I get a call from coworker with an update. Boss loses it. He can't keep up with any requests for help and didn't bother memorize the simple tasks I showed him, so he does what any good boss does and puts in a request to take a vacation until I get back. Retreat is always an option. Nothing screams leader more than retreat. It's not weakness and failure if he's not there. My coworkers were able to manage and boss got his 3-day vacation, unfortunately. After the week off, I'm called to VP's office to catch up and get things back on track. VP obviously heard of the hardships boss faced in my absence and laughed at my MC surprisingly. VP struck a deal with me moving forward since it was made clear to him that no one else knew how to do my job. I can go on vacation wherever I'd like as long as I bring my laptop and phone to check it once a week. They'll refund my vacation time for that day even if I only work for 5 minutes. I took that, but with the caveat of making boss actually learn some of my duties just in case. VP agreed. Now I do an hour of teaching a week to a very surly boss. After all, he's the boss. He's gotta know. Man, I swear this is so common with bosses and managers. They can't take the heat, they'll go on a vacation. But then when it's your turn, no, you gotta take your phone, your laptop, answer any email that comes through. I love how he says you don't have to work if you go somewhere without service. Like, I'm going to Egypt. I'm gonna go chill on them damn pyramids. Alright, and the winners of the Spring Discord Drawing Contest are gonna be Kinibee for first place with this awesome piece of work. I was blown away the first time I saw this picture. The highlights and colors and overall style that she uses in her artwork is just way dope. In second place, we have Vird with this piece of Old Daddy Death and his lesbians. Cause why not, right? I love the colors in this one. And then with runners up, we have Elsa with this piece, some people playing around in the park. This one's way cool. I love the digital style that it has. But also the shadows and shading is on point. And then we got this dope one from Moon Lizard. I'll put the winners' links in the description so y'all can check them out if you'd like. Just want to say thanks to everybody who entered in the drawing contest. Couldn't show everybody's work as there was quite a few submissions on this one. As always, hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe for more, and hit that bell to stay notified when I upload. Stay safe, everyone. Peace.